In this video, my friend David has offered his Volvo XC60 to try and tempt me into the cruel, evil world of SUVs. Is it going to do it? It's been an interesting question. I've actually travelled in this vehicle before, but I've never actually driven it, and I must admit, part of me is very curious to know what this thing is like. This is a 2012 Volvo XC60. It's a car that's been extraordinarily successful for Volvo, and one which has the delicious Volvo styling. I must admit, Volvo's styling game is so strong. It is so unmistakably a Volvo. It's got the same hip kink as the sort of V70 Estate, the S60 Saloon, and it works so well. Even like the rear wiper, it's just slightly different from the norm of having it glass mounted, being mounted in the body itself. This is got the Polestar tuning package on it, and it's a Design R spec, so it's a bit sporty, which seems ridiculous for such an enormous lump of car. But here we go, R-Design. And it has quite an interesting history as well. We believe this car actually lived in California for a time, been owned by an Englishman who was stationed over there. There's a bill in the service history to replace a door handle in San Diego. So hello Californian hubnutters, we know there are a few. This seems an unlikely car to have been there, but yeah, I do like it. It does look vast, enormous. The wheels are huge, but I'm keen to know what it's actually like to drive. So it's got the projector headlamps, the little bit of orange trim that looks oh so American. But yeah, it should be an interesting drive. Let's start under the bonnet. Here we go, and oh yes, look at that for a lovely lump of plastic there. It's got the Volvo badge on it, but it's not giving much away. Under here is a 2.4 litre 5-cylinder diesel engine. Fairly aged in terms of history, but developed quite a lot in terms of fuel injection and turbocharging. So it has twin turbos, twin sequential turbos. A small one to give you that instant boost, and then a bigger one to take over and give you all the power. Apparently it had the timing belt changed 94,000 miles, so I haven't even looked what's on now, but yeah, fairly modern engine bay. Can't really see a lot. I do like the engine mounting. That's quite a beautiful thing. So the platform of this car, which may surprise you, it's the same platform as the Mark IV Mondeo and the Land Rover Freelander 2. Ford owned Volvo and Land Rover at the time this car was developed. It came out in 2011, and the off-road ability was apparently developed here in the UK by Land Rover, and why not? It would make perfect sense. So we got all-wheel drive. I don't know how active it is. I don't know if it spends most of its time front-wheel drive. It probably does, and just sends drive to the rear wheels as and when you need it. The sporty twin tailpipes hint at mischief, don't they? So pop in the boot while we're here. We might as well. It should have an electronic boot release, but the struts cost huge amounts of money, so it's got simplified struts. Why not? And it's got this luggage divider, which I'm using to hold my backpack in place and ensure it doesn't get thrown around. So that's a very sensible idea. And something else that's sensible is that under here there is a strap which I can unhitch from there, and when someone hasn't left his blooming bag in the way, excuse me, you can then use this to hang this lower panel up here like so. So now you can access all the stuff under here. We've got under here there is a space saver spare wheel, an actual wheel with some tools, and the space to put some essentials to keep your car happy on the road, including a kind of Bulldog BDX it seems. But yeah, it's really nice, and I love the fact it's got a bit of Velcro, so it just attaches away. That is nice. That is thinking about the car's use. But look at that boot. It is a good space. So that is enormous. Family car needs family size space. What's it like in the back? Let's jump in together. In we go. And I have to say, the privacy tint makes it a little claustrophobic here, and is making the image stabilization really struggle. But a nice place to sit rather, not to live. Got a nice amount of legroom. That's a seat set for me. I'm 5'9". We've got a centre armrest here, which is begging for an inspection. Oh, little oddment storage as well. Oh, cup holders roll out of it. That's quite neat. I like that. And we've got a head restraint here. What is this button? I don't know what that button is. Oh, that button is to to pull up the passenger head restraint. That's a really difficult thing to do one-handed. Wish I hadn't bothered. But yeah, we've got plenty of room here. It certainly feels very spacious, just a little claustrophobic with that limo tint rather. We've got little fresh air vents for the rear seat occupants as well though. Little storage bins as well, and document storage there. Is that something? No, but we've got 12-volt power outlet there. So yeah, not a bad place to sit at all. Really quite comfortable. Moving to the front, and very comfortable. The head restraint isn't too far forward actually. I quite like that. Got a huge bank of switches and lights up here. It's quite stylish. In fact, style is a thing here. We've got the famous Volvo floating dashboard, this centre console, which is just a really lovely design feature. To modern eyes, looks incredibly busy because we've got all these buttons, some air conditioning, some phone related and media controls. So quite a lot going on. And what now hilariously looks like a tiny little screen here. The multimedia is feeling its age a bit, but this is a car that's 12 years old now. Really nice dials. We'll take in what are described as indicator stalks, but really that's almost an indicator column. But yeah, it brings it right to the fingertips. This side we've got the rear wiper controls, very Volvo-esque on the end, so that's intermittent and that's full on, and I think it's a way to wash. So we've got a tiny little headlamp switch down here. Look at it, it's tiny. It's hilariously small. We've got remote fuel release, boot release, doesn't work necessarily anymore because that would open the boot, fog light switch, and electronic handbrake, which I think we'll just be leaving well alone, to be honest with you. Then a bank of switches on the door as well for mirrors, locks and windows. But yeah, it's quite a nice place to sit, I must admit. Nice ambience in here. The leather seats, R-Design seats, nice chunky bolsters to hold you in place, and it's all in really lovely condition. We've got lumbar adjustment down here, a little cubby in there to hide your hub nut beanie hat. New design of those awaited, should be on the store soon. And then we got extra cup storage in here and another 12-volt power outlet. So yeah, there's lots going on. This seems to be one of those CD mounted mounts for your phone, so that's aftermarket. Sizable glove box, seems to go on for days in there, so you can go mining in your own glove box. Big storage bin, so all very practical. But what you really want to know is what it's like to drive, so let's get you in the mount and get down the road. Okay then, let's get motoring. Seatbelt on, foot on the brake, start the engine, put the fob in there, and you can hear it's a proper old school 5-cylinder engine. It reminds me very much of driving Volkswagen LTs, and I imagine it's got that sort of heritage. 5 cylinders, sounds very nice. It's got that famous 5-cylinder warble. It's just a noise unlike anything else. But quickly pop it into D. So around town it does sound very agricultural, doesn't it? It's got a proper clatter to it. But let's see what it sounds like when we get out on the open road, once we eventually can. It's a 6-speed gearbox. I've no idea what gear we're in. It seems to flick its way through them. There's also torque converter lockups in various gears as well. So it feels very, very smooth. So this car has done 131,000 miles now. It's actually the car that took us to the airport when we went to Italy earlier this year. And then we enjoyed a thrash around Milton Keynes in it. So I know it goes well because previous owner Sean did demonstrate, but Now it's really my chance to find out. So we'll take this road towards Lampeter, because I think this gets quite entertaining. Oh gosh, it certainly corners very flat. The ride is on the firm side, but it's a long way from uncomfortable. Now you could actually get these with the T6 straight 6 transverse engine. I believe it was 3.2 litres, but the diesel has to be favourite really. Apparently it's averaging 36 mpg, which isn't too bad for a big old lumper car like this. And there's our favourite sign, and whoa, that was a bit unnecessary. Whoa, that is smooth. So I can put it into sport mode. I don't know what that does, holds the revs a bit longer, makes it a bit keener to kick down perhaps, and gives you a bit of braking into the whoa, engine brake. Oh my gosh, it really does get down the road well. We're going uphill. Yeah, that is a nice sounding engine. I do like a sort of a 5-cylinder engine. It just makes a noise like no other engine. Well, possibly apart from a V10, of course. But we've got up slower traffic, including the Volvo XC60 that started Volvo's move towards SUVs. The XC70 being little more than a V70 jacked up with 4-wheel drive. And then the XC90 came along. That was the big SUV and was hugely popular. Jeremy Clarkson described it as one of his favourite cars. So that did, yeah, that aided sales quite a lot, I imagine. But yes, very, very smooth. But it did just kick down to like 4,000 revs, at which point there aren't many revs left. The red line starts at 4,500 because it's a diesel engine and a fairly old school architecture at that. I don't think it's that dissimilar to the Volvo in front of us at the moment, which is on a 2006 plate. I'm just trying the Tiptronic mode. It requires very little input. The lever barely moves at all, and it's nice, quick, crisp changes. We're going to pull in here to let the traffic get away, and while we're here, we can do the important business of the windscreen wiper test. Oh, look at that. Good overlap. No triangle of doom. It's just washed the headlights as well. It's a very pleasing wiper performance there. We'll do the rear one a bit later on. But now we're at a halt. We shall... That's 60. Yeah, that is effective progress, can be made quite easily. Expecting this to feel quite big and cumbersome on these busy Welsh roads, but that's not the case at all. It does feel purposeful and entertaining in an SUV. The mind boggles. So the XC60, this first generation, was in production from 2011 through to 2018, I think. With most of them built at the Ghent factory in Belgium. Started building Volvos back in the 1980s, I think. In fact, I think that factory has just celebrated building 1 million XC40s, a slightly smaller sibling to this car. Yes, good downshifting in sport mode. Yeah, it does get down the road well. That is a lot of engine noise though, isn't it? Well, you ease off, put it back into normal mode, and it does get quite a lot quieter. But yeah, I can imagine if you were towing or something and having to work the engine hard, that noise might get a little overbearing. Yeah, now we're not in sport mode. Now it's keeping the revs much lower. It's using the torque of the engine, so that's a lot more relaxing. And give the brakes a shove, not going too crazy. It's got brand new discs and pads on the back. Oh yeah. This is nice. This is power in reserve. Oh dear, me and Kitch, Mr. Up and Down Vids, may have to have a falling out. He hates SUVs, but I can definitely see what the appeal is here. Oh yeah. Doesn't feel like a wobbly bus, that's for sure. Oh, annoyingly, I think I quite like this. Yeah, it just turns in really nicely. I mean, there's no feedback. Steering is pretty dead, but oh, very, very likable. Very, very likable. Oh yeah, I'm going to say I enjoyed that one. A lot of fun, a lot of practicality, a lot of safety, and yeah, very enjoyable to drive. It's nice to have something that sounds so agricultural, just pottering about, but you get your foot down and go down the road and it's a flying machine, and in drive so smooth with it as well. So a lot of fun. There are issues that can go wrong with these, with the four-wheel drive system, with the automatic transmission. So there's a hint of buyer beware, as there are with any cars. This one's had a torque converter replacement, but yeah, it's a very enjoyable drive, and it's kind of changed my mind about SUVs a bit. That upright driving position, that is what people like, and I think a lot of people don't understand that people like to sit up. They don't like lying down. They want to be a bit more upright, and that's where SUVs absolutely score. So huge thanks for watching. Don't forget you can head to the Hubnut store and buy lovely merchandise, and we'll see you in a future video. Farewell. Oh, almost forgot rear wiper. Oh, look at that for a sweep. Marvellous.